Welcome back! We've been interrupted by Alan dying. That's me. I died. Or more specifically, my power died because the gods decided that it should.
Actually, I decided you should. I wanted more power from my Nintendo Switch. I needed to charge it.
Anyways, I'm pleased to announce that it's going to be a shorter session today. I'm not actually pleased about it, but I'm going to pretend that I'm pleased about it. But since it is, I'm going to jump right into the intro.
Jump!
I can leave now and just you guys continue to play, but I need to
No.
leave in 2 hours. And I was
Yeah, you
asked
can
to do this because my boss had literally no one else. So please don't make me feel bad about this because I already
God,
don't want to
Alex! I can't
Don't.
believe I'm kidding.
Alex,
Sorry, I'm
Alex,
kidding.
we're not blaming you, we're blaming capitalism.
I'm blaming Jordan.
You're right, it's Jordan's fault.
Unless Jordan is capitalism.
It's Jordan's fault.
I knew it.
Wait, no.
He's the big monopoly guy this entire time, right under our noses.
Anyways.
Anyways, yeah.
So, last we left off, the Tidebringers had.
You don't have to. I don't think you have to. You already did the.
I don't
recap,
know.
didn't you?
I don't know if that recording is like
Well, let's
corrupted or
pretend
not.
we did. Fuck them. Fuck the viewers. We know the viewers.
Okay.
Sorry, Neva. If you don't know, sorry. You gotta rewatch the previous session. Might be.
Last we left off, the Tidebringers
Damn it, Alan.
went and raided the time mining situation and beat the fuck out of an air elemental and got some Wistine, which is what Jin wanted to make a big weapon. And now they're likely, assuming the players follow the main quest and what they said they were going to do in previous sessions, on their way to the Fearlands. They might change their mind. I don't know. I have no control over this goddamn campaign. I've given up years ago. Anyways.
Sorry.
I've only been here for 1 year.
You've only been here for 1 year. But we've been doing this shit for 3.
This campaign,
But this world.
but this campaign. Anyways.
I
Are we
didn't have
still
any
waiting on
control over the last
Varcan, or
one.
did she come back?
Yeah. Did
So-
we get our fake?
Where we left off, the Tidebringers had just teleported with Theodrata back into Theodrata Fleetfoot's attic. Or excuse me, not Fleetfoot. Theodrata Fairfoot's attic. Fleetfoot is an entirely different NPC in an entirely different country.
Yes, do it.
Spoilers. But as we step back into the world of Lavinia, Jin, you have your real Wistine in one hand and your fake Wistine in the other hand. I believe you got 4 ingots of the good stuff and then 2 ingots of fake.
Yep.
We have a lot of ingots of the real stuff.
Yeah. Of the real stuff, baby.
Pretty sure it was just 4. It was either 4 or 6.
Jordan,
I
how
have
much
4,
did you get?
and then everyone else has 1.
No, I got 2. I got either
No.
2 or 4 more.
No, that was the ore. And
Oh, the ingots.
yeah, I was talking about the ingots.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Didn't we make all the ingots into ore?
You mean all the
Orange
ore
ingots?
things?
Oh, the orange ingots.
No, you
mean?
didn't. No, you didn't. You took some of the ore and made it into fake ingots. But you didn't turn the real ore into ingots. Or you didn't, actually have any of the ore processed properly. You just had to make some fakesies.
So how many faces do we have?
2, I believe.
Well, how many Western ingots does everyone have?
You have 4 and nobody else has any.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the rest of us just have ore.
Yeah.
Except I think Tyler used his 2 ore to make the 2 fake ingots.
That is correct.
Okay,
So I'm gonna
yeah.
give Tyler my ore, because I'm the one that wanted the fake ingots.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I still have my ore.
Yes. So everyone has 1 ore except for Eterna. Jin has
With the
4
fake.
real ingots. Eterna has 2 fake ingots.
Yes, sir.
And I plant tulips.
I'm Dutch.
Alright.
Hey.
So, as we
Oh.
step back into this attic, Theodrata kind of looks to you guys and says, "So, well done.
There you go.
That went a lot smoother than I was expecting, actually."
Like, it could have went a little smoother.
Yeah, I kind of died.
Well,
Didn't
to be
you
fair,
like-
that was expected, wasn't it?
What?
And you're alive now.
Didn't I die once and you died twice, but then the last time you, like, died?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't you went like unconscious?
No, I died.
No, I meant
Like,
the first time.
Oh,
The first-
probably.
Like, weren't you like floating like you're just like like free floating or whatever?
Man, I'm not sure. I was
I don't
dead
know, I
during
think
that
I was
time.
dead.
Oh yeah. Don't remember.
Either way, seems the temporal engine saved your lives in the end.
Which, by the way, I show the one sigil I got written down. Do you know anyone who would know how to make that if I wanted to do something like that, but like minus the slavery bit?
Temporal engines of that sort are a very, very closely guarded secret amongst some there are a few genies of all four types who are aware of the magic, but mainly the knowledge is guarded by the inevitables of the city of Sigil.
What is the city of Sigil?
You're aware of the basics of planar congruence, right?
Clara, who now?
I think I would be, yeah.
Essentially, there are four rings of planes. We have the material plane here, with the upper and lower Shadowfell and the Feywild interposed on top of it, sort of as a sphere in the center. The inner planes are a rotating ring around that. The outer planes are a rotating ring around that. The divine domains are a rotating ring around that. And beyond that is the infinite expanse of the positive and negative energy planes. There are points, occasionally, where all of these planes align, and existing in those spaces and those times is the interplanar city of Sigil, a city perched on the inside of a hemisphere, with a hole in the center where a spire reaches up to the sky, whatever sky tends to exist in this strange, almost
I do have
extra
one
planar
question.
space. Yes.
So this is an out of play question.
Yeah.
Have you read the, like, Ring World?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. That description just sounded eerily familiar.
No,
But
I can.
never mind then.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely not. That's very much not what it was based on. It's my sort of interpretation, in addition to what is essentially base Dungeons and Dragons cosmology.
Okay.
If you know what a gyroscope looks like, the planar rings that I just described align somewhat similarly to a gyroscope.
Yeah.
In a fourth dimensional sense.
Yeah. Like, if you look up a picture of Ringworld, like, just look up Ringworld and then the, like, Google image, you'll see what I'm talking about and why I made that connection. But, okay.
Yeah, very much not this.
Okay.
Yeah, very much not that at all.
Okay.
But I understand why you made that connection. No. So the rings are less of like physical objects and more of spaces in which those planes exist.
Okay.
You took chemistry, electron orbitals.
Yeah.
It's a similar concept to that.
Yeah.
In a planar, gyroscopic, cosmic sense.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
And if you look up, here, I'll send a GIF in the chat. This is important info, so...
Okay, so chances are we will not get there. Neat.
Yeah, Sigil is probably one of the most difficult places to reach intentionally. Especially if the matron of Sigil doesn't want you to get there. But anyways, Theodrata continues. The Inevitables are sort of a police force, a mechanical police force created by Primus, the essence of the outer plane of Mechanus, to maintain time as a strict sequence of cause and effect. Through bribery or force or certain deals, some few folk have been able to win exemptions to the laws of time. But in general, if you go messing with time without their permission, they come and they kill you.
Cool.
If only they'd kill Draevok for us.
Unfortunately for us, Draevok knows where those limits are, and has not breached them, or perhaps has made some form of deal.
I'd say creating your own plane would have to fuck that up somehow.
Time and space are linked, but are not the same concept necessarily. And from what I've studied of that event is more of a splitting of a plane than a new creation. Although other scholars might tell you otherwise.
So it's kind of what the dragons did.
No. Elbrun Veiled exists as a demiplane, which is a sort of pocket dimension. Essentially, you tie a string in a very loose sense. You tie a string to one of the planar rings and put a pouch on that string, and that's the demiplane that you can go into and out of from that spot. What Draevok did, from what I can tell, and this is not my field of expertise, but from what I can tell, it's closer to cutting a ring in half, changing half of it, and then gluing it back together. why the plane has such unstable consequences. And Theodrada just kind of like subtly glances at you, Eterna.
He just kind of sits there angry now.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. I kind of look to the group. I feel like we should take a rest, though, before we go and trick Varcan. Because I feel like we're gonna fight. And then after we mess with him, good or bad, we get the fuck out of here and go to wherever it was that we were going in Valakai. Or Vesium, or wherever.
So you think we should rest before we get on his bad side?
Yes, because I want to be able to cast at full strength.
Yeah.
You're welcome to rest here if you need to. I will have to insist that you do so downstairs. Last time I took a nap up here, I woke up with pink hair.
Hey Jen, do you want some pink hair?
I kind of sit there for a second and like put my hand like on my jaw like I'm thinking. Yeah, no, we should probably just sit downstairs.
It's a very chaotic laboratory. A lot of it tends to run itself, but that causes just as many problems as it does conveniences.
Doesn't sound safe.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, cool.
Casually like shoves Ursa further towards the stairs.
You watch as Theodrada kind of, as she's been speaking, she's been like making various hand motions at parts of the laboratory, her attic laboratory, and various beakers and fluids and wisps of arcane energy have been kind of swirling in various different areas. She kind of goes back to that, focusing a little more on one specific section of the laboratory. Yes, just make yourselves at home. I wouldn't recommend staying too long. Varcan is not capable of interplanar travel, as I am, but he does know how to detect it, so he likely knows that you're home.
Yeah, he certainly knows how to be nosy, huh?
It's one of his specialties.
I wanted to bounce some ideas off of you.
Go for it.
So, we both know that fucking Varcan is bad.
Well, of course.
You know he's definitely working in some capacity with the Fearlands. Right?
Not that I know of. The only person in this town that is as nosy as he is me. So, I mean, half of these things are scrying spells anyways.
Okay, because I think he's definitely working with the Fearlands. I don't know how high up he is working, because Draevok doesn't play games like that. But he's working with someone. And I think that he was wanting the Withstein, kind of like the little paper airplane notes. They're like the one that he sent you.
Right.
I feel like he was trying to make, like, that's why he really wanted Withstein, is I feel like he wanted to make a version big enough that he could fly in. And I don't know if he'd use it for his own personal gain, or if he would use it as a weapon, maybe against the townspeople or against the Fearlands.
Oh, I highly doubt he'd use it as a weapon against the townspeople here. He works very hard to stay in their good graces and keep their money.
But how much withstand do you think he would need?
It depends on the size of what he's working with and the strength of his enchantments. The more arcane energy storage crystals he has access to, the less channeling needs to be done. The more efficient the enchantment, the less he'll need. Really depends on the skill of whoever he's working with, or if he's doing it himself.
Because he said that because he was trying to frame us for something that he can't prove that we did. And
Oh,
he
that
was
bit
saying
with
that
the duck on the bridge.
Yes. Glares at the party.
That's inspired. I enjoyed watching that.
I intensely whistle.
He can't prove that we had anything to do with it. But,
Oh, but he wouldn't need to.
I mean, the cops wouldn't dare lay a hand on me. They didn't.
Likely not out of fear of you.
No, because I didn't do anything. That's what I mean.
Let me put it this way. There are a number of innocent people who rubbed Varcan the wrong way currently residing in our jailhouse.
Looks at the party. Do we want to do a jailbreak? No, we shouldn't do a jailbreak.
If it comes to it.
I mean, from your discussions of the Feelings and Uthalakai's region of the Feelings, I'm not too sure what your agenda is, but I imagine it's rushed. After all, the longer you dawdle, the more likely it is your plans will come out. That wouldn't be very healthy.
What if we just make a
what?
fake plan that will just dawdle out instead?
My glasses just spontaneously broke.
Turna, I never knew you wore contacts.
You watch as Shalix, takes out a pair of crystal glasses, sets it on Eterna's face, and then just breaks them.
Silver, I didn't know you did that.
Oh shit, Silver's actually here? Last time I looked, he was gone.
I did.
You
They
did
just-
do that?
Spontaneously broke while they were on my face. Okay, no blue lights for me then.
Rip.
Shit. Where's my train of thought? Oh, yeah. But Varcan said he only needed 2 ingots.
Well, then that's likely twice as much as he needs.
Well, good thing we barely gave him any.
Well, yeah, I haven't given him anything yet, but
Yeah.
no. I doubt he'll be able to do much with the thin veneer on those pieces of glass.
Alright. Then, I think we're good to go. After we rest.
Right. It's about lunchtime. Would you like lunch? Tea?
Sure.
I'll get that sorted. And she stamps on the floor of the attic 3 times, and you hear pots and pans moving downstairs.
Can we go ahead and mark long rests?
You can take a long rest if you'd like, but it'll be the middle of the night by the time you're done.
Damn. But I need to take a long rest.
We literally took a short rest last session.
That is true.
Yeah, but I don't get spell slots on a short rest.
I do.
Well, I have more spell slots than you, so fuck you. I'm only like a 3/4 caster.
I mean, if you wanted to, you could, hang out at her house and take that long rest, and then just pick up with the next morning.
Yes.
Okay. I want all of you to roll Arcana checks for me. I'm gonna roll one for Theodrata as well. And then I'm gonna roll one for Varcan. And we're going to see if he detects you returning or not.
What's math? 25.
Good start.
I'm
Good
like-
start.
18 plus 7 is hard mental math. Where's my glue?
That's for Theodrata. What did you get, Eterna?
25.
25?
Yes.
25, 12, 14, 9, just waiting on silver.
Arcana?
Yes.
Yeah.
Super glue.
Nine.
82? Oh, that's the total. Jesus, I thought that's what he rolled.
So you guys got a average of, we'll round that up to 14. Varcan has a +5 to this check. So if he beats a 14 or higher on this roll here, then he does detect you returning. Oof.
Damn, we tied.
So, as you guys kind of head downstairs, eventually Theodrata joins you. You're all sitting around her table, eating tea and some nice sandwiches made with rye bread. Rye bread that Theodrata is particularly vocally proud of, as it's the only type of bread that she's been able to produce magically that actually tastes like it's supposed to. And it's decent. They're not the best sandwiches you've ever had, but they're definitely serviceable. But as you're sitting there eating, you have not marked your long rest yet. You hear a on the door.
Shit, it's the top.
Theodrata calmly stands up from the table, kind of hops down from the her kind of raised chair, steps over to the door, opens it. Can I help you? You all hear the voice of Varcan kind of slip through. Yes, I believe you have some company over. Oh, well, yes, but not particularly any of your business now, is that? Everything that happens in this city is my business, Theodrata. You should know that by now. Well, may I recommend you not make this your business? And you all can just kind of spot just the glimmer of a single tusk poking out of a cruel smile.
No, my lens.
Oh no.
I am just here to have a conversation. There was a business deal that I made with a few of these folk, and I wanted to be sure they held up their end of the bargain. Of course, I can come back with a warrant if you'd like me to. Theodrata kind of shakes her head. No, that won't be necessary. Who was it exactly that you had this business with? be a gem genasi, a fox or a wolf shifter, or tabaxi of some form, some form of porcupine or spined beast folk. They call themselves the Tidebringers. They're right there, I can see through the crack in the door. Fascinating. Well, friends, if you wouldn't mind. Theodrata kind of gestures for one of you to come to the door, where she is aggressively holding it at just cracked open and not fully open, and Varcan is just kind of leaning his weight on it. Neither of them are, like, obviously trying to hold it open or hold it closed, but they are both, you can tell they are both, like, casually trying to force their way with each other.
I'll walk forward.
I was gonna, well, okay.
What's up, Alex?
Cause he didn't meet Ruben, did he?
No, he didn't mention you.
So...
Ruben was, actually, I tried to, stop Shalix. I'm like, wait. You didn't see Ruben. Ruben, go! Ruben, you don't know who that is, but, that's good. Go!
I just
I
gotta
push
stand
him.
up.
I push him.
And just, like, awkwardly walk to the door and, like, stand next to Theodrata.
Varcan kind of scowls slightly. And you would be?
A new friend. What can I do you for? And he kind of smiles a little bit.
Well, friend, I'm Varcan. I run the water purification plant here in town, and have a hand in the dealings of the Wizarding College as well. I actually helped found that a while ago. Both of these prospects have been very successful. It's really become the lifeblood of the town. I was wondering if, in the town's best interest, of course, you could help me locate those folk I just described, the Tidebringers. They were contracted to provide me with material that I needed as a part of a further expansion to the town, an expansion of our communications. Really just trying to help the town grow. And I just want to be sure they haven't absconded with my money.
Well, what was their time limit that you gave them?
It was to be done in a timely manner. It was expected to be within the day.
But you didn't say that now, did you? You just kind of said in a timely manner, not really giving them a time now, did you?
If you'd like me to pull up the details of the contract, I can. But I doubt you have the legal expertise to read through such jargon.
I'm just saying, you gotta be a little bit, literal with this group.
So you've heard of them?
Stories here and there.
Hmm.
Not too much.
What sort of stories have you heard?
Good. You know, I heard that, they helped out at the, harbor in, the Shattered Isles. Saved a lot of people there. I have a few friends who live out there. They actually sent me some letters, because, I hadn't heard from them because of the attacks of the orcs, and they said that the people you described pretty much helped out.
Fascinating. I had heard that story as well, but in that story there was a fifth member. And he kind of like slowly pulls a letter out of his pocket. I actually have a missive for that fifth member here. He flicks the letter twice.
Can I see it?
Are you a member of this group?
I mean, I know where to find them. So if you want this letter to that 5th member, I would suggest handing it to me.
I'd like to deliver it in person if possible.
I don't think that's
Lead the
gonna
way.
happen. Well,
He
I
kind
don't
of
feel
tucks the letter
comfortable.
back into his breast pocket. We wouldn't want to keep our friend Ruben waiting, would we?
Listen, I don't feel comfortable showing you where these guys are. Just because, again, from what I've heard, they're very nice people. And you seem like you have some not nice business with them.
Simply contract to obtain a material to help improve our city. They're helping here just as they did in Liechtenstein Harbor.
Yeah, but you have something about you that I don't like, and your whole stance there, sir, is a little bit uneasy. And, again, I don't feel comfortable taking you to these people, because you don't seem like a good person, with the way you're talking to me right now, and the way you're, standing there.
Go ahead and do me a favor. Roll either a intimidation or deception check. Your choice.
Trying to see if there's anything I can use to, like... I technically have rustic hospitality. Would that help me in anything? Because I have not been rude to this man at once. I'm just saying, like, I just...
You know what?
something's off about him.
You know what? That's fair.
It's the way you treat cops.
I'll give you another +2 to the roll, for your rustic hospitality. I know that's not exactly what the feature's intended for, but given the context here, I'll give you a +2.
Trying to take
I
away
guess-
our moonshine.
I'll do...
Oh.
They're both the same stats, so...
Intimidate-
intimidation, here we go.
Intimidation is more of trying to impress upon Varcan here that you're the one with the power, you're the one who has what he wants, and if he's gonna get what he wants, he's gotta do it your way. It's kind of like power move sort of thing, whereas
So feel
deception...
more forceful though.
Deception is more of like playing stupid, not really understanding what's going on here, and like trying to play as innocent.
18.
Okay. Varcan has a +8 to his intimidation check that will contest that.
Great.
It's what he's best at. That's this guy's whole stock in trade is power and intimidation and manipulation. So you're looking for a 10 or lower on this dice.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah?
Okay. He's still trying to get into the door, right?
He's just kind of like casually leaning up against it, like you would lean up against a wall when you're loitering. But you can tell just like based on where his feet are placed that if Theodrata was not standing there actively like foot wedged under the door, she's also standing casually, but her foot is wedged under the door. You could tell that if she moved, the door would open and he would like enter in immediately. And in the same way, you can tell that if he moved, Theodrata, the way Theodrata is standing, the door would close pretty much immediately. So they're both kind of like, neither of them are being obvious about it. They're both being very polite about it, but there is this very subtle tug of war happening with these door hinges here.
It's like Jehovah's Witness when they try to break into your home.
Sends my brother out with his booty y'alls and his
Oh
toenails.
my
baked in
fucking
sparkly
god,
purple.
I remember this. How dare you? You realize that's recorded now, right?
Hell yeah.
So
Tyler
glad,
now.
man. That sounds amazing.
Tyler now has a clip of you saying booty alls.
Listen,
Or-
that is what my brother calls them.
Booty all.
It's a pair of like
I don't want you.
overalls,
I don't want you to
but
describe it.
they're
I
the
think it's
length
so-
of like booty shorts in the legs. Hence booty alls.
vocabulary, guys.
Congratulations,
You learned a new
everyone
word.
who watches this has been blessed with the goodwill.
You're welcome, Neva.
Out of curiosity, Eterna, do you have inspiration?
I do not. I wish I did.
Well, if you had it, I was going to take it away from you for that.
I was gonna ask if I could have it for that. Never mind.
I guess that's a no.
I wish I did have inspiration.
But yeah, Ruben, as you're kind of just standing there, Varcan kind of nods to himself a couple of times. You can see the scowl that he was wearing kind of turns back into a slight grin. Even after all I've done for this town, wanting nothing more than to help it further, you would still claim that I'm a bad person. That's
Listen,
my
sir.
feelings.
Listen, sir, I'm not from this town. I'm just visiting my friend here, and I point to Theodrata. So, I could give two flying fucks about what the fuck you do in this town. So,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is, I'm not taking to you to those people unless you want to switch that attitude around and be a little bit nicer. So,
What would you like for me to say?
what are your plans with these people, huh?
I'm simply checking up on the progress of their contracted work, their business with me.
And you don't plan on hurting a single hair on any of their heads?
Absolutely not. I'm unarmed, and he gestures both of his hands up, like open, palms facing up.
A dagger falls out.
Mind if I give you just a little bit of a pat down? Since you're unarmed?
That would be mighty inappropriate, but
You say you're unarmed, I just want to believe what I'm hearing. I've had a lot of people, take me for granted and take my kindness for granted, so if you say you're unarmed...
He kind of reaches up to the lapel of his cloak that he's wearing and kind of twists it, and a small bead of magic comes out, and he hands it to you and says, "You're familiar with magic, yes? This is a simple detect magic spell. It'll allow you to see any form of enchantments or anything that I might be carrying, along with any other enchantments in about a 30-foot radius. Simply crush that in your hand. You'll have that effect for about 10 minutes. You'll be able to see if I'm armed with anything."
Not good enough. I need to see, because look, I'm a real weapons type of guy myself. I love my battle axe. I take very good care of that. So,
And I can see, based on your stance and how you carry yourself, how you holstered your weapon, and the glint on the edge of that weapon, that you're quite good with it.
So again, I'd like to pat you down, so I know you're fully unarmed.
Roll another intimidation check.
I'm like half tempted to be like, oh, can I do my rage to like add to it?
You can, but that would cause a wild surge, which could very easily, in this tense moment, be taken as a sign of aggression.
True. Anyways, intimidation. Hiya. Do I get the +2 still or no?
Yeah, still the +2.
20! Eat my knuckleberries. Eat my knuckleberries.
You sure got him, man.
He kind of sighs for a moment. If you insist, and he kind of flips the bead of magic up in the air, catches it, and crushes it himself. No sense in wasting good magic. If your friend who you're visiting, our lovely Theodrada, Fairfoot herself, would mind opening the door fully,
No,
you can
no. Nope,
step
nope,
out
nope, nope.
and pat me down.
Hey, buddy, I need you to step back from the door first, before I step out. This is how we're gonna play. We're gonna play it my way. You step back from the door.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
While we're doing this, can I use my disguised kit to... I don't know, how can I make one of us look human?
Probably Poyo.
Poya, no.
Like, I want to use the disguise kit and unleash my dogs so that we have an excuse to get the fuck out of here and cause a distraction.
Out of everyone here, Shalex would probably be the easiest. But even that is a stretch. You all are fairly normal folk, except for Shalex in the Shattered Isles. But outside of the Shattered Isles, where beast folk are less common, you guys do kind of stick out a little bit. And while it would be easy to, say, change the color of your fur, or, change your clothes with a disguise kit, change your hair, or maybe potentially trim some of Poyo's spikes, it would be very difficult for most of you to appear as a different race without some form of magic.
Are we trying to cause a distraction, Eternal? Because I got just a thing.
I mean, I was gonna release 2 mastiffs to just bust through the door
Okay.
and then have someone chase after them while we get out the back door.
Okay, how about 4 masters? I could do 2. I could do 2. Just quick question.
I only have 2.
Just quick question. Alan, is my stat sheet currently okay? Do I have 2 wild shapes?
Yes, your stat sheet is currently correct.
Okay. So, I said, Eternal, I can make another 2 dogs. Created a huge distraction with 4 dogs.
I don't know.
I think it would work.
I don't know, because we're gonna talk to him anyways.
I have an idea. Hey, Shalex,
Yes.
summon one of your dogs, and I just polymorph it into like something big.
Turn it into a bull.
Okay, I got it. Ready? And
Yep.
I'm gonna use the wild shape to cast
Find familiar.
Find Familiar.
I do believe that can you do that as an action?
I can.
Throw that ability in chat for me. This
feel
is
like
one of the
calling
new
it
ones
abilities.
from, Nice!
Yeah. They
Okay.
appear fake, but otherwise they look the same as any beast. So mastiff, those are beasts. And then I'm gonna use a wild shape,
Turn it
Okay.
into a bull.
and I'm turning myself into a mastiff.
Okay.
We look identical. Both of us have mushroom growing on ours, spores just kind of on our tails and heads.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I can't talk.
So yeah, as those two abilities go off, the brief flares of magic, Ruben, you kind of hear them slightly behind you, and you see the sparkles of magic reflected in Varcan's eyes, as he is currently under the effects of the detect magic spell that he was offering you. No visible facial reaction at all. But you instantly realize, oh, he knows. As he kind of steps back from the door and beckons to you, Ruben.
I give Theodrata like a look of like, tell them to shut the fuck up and get out. As I'm like slowly about to walk out the door.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a
Theodrata.
perception check for me, Ruben.
Perception?
Yeah. You can continue saying what you were saying, but I also need this.
Theodrata, why don't you go check on our dinner? Cause
Right, the
getting late.
yeah, the pot pie. Of course.
Yeah. I've been itching for that so long. You know, she just makes the I turn to him and she just makes the darnest pot pies there ever are. And
It's
better
the
than my
fire
mom
magic
used to
that
make.
I've put in the oven.
Yeah, that even better than my mom used to make.
When you kind of step out, Varcan is holding his arms to the side. You can see his vaguely wizardly, official-looking robes. It's kind of like, almost like someone tried to combine the form of wizard robes and like a tunic, and a cloak with the fashion and presentation of a three-piece tailored suit.
Presentation.
Doesn't exactly have the desired effect. But this very official looking man, he's just holding his arms out to the side, legs slightly braced apart. Get this over with.
Alright. I walk up to him, start doing like a thorough pat down, and I'm checking like all his pockets. I'm checking his like anything that could be hidden anywhere.
I'm looking for Eterna to see for signal.
Right.
I thought Poyo was gonna turn one of y'all into a bull.
I thought so too, but then Shalix is like, I'm gonna be a badass.
So, Ruben,
I'm
go
also-
ahead and roll an investigation check.
I was also gonna say I'm also gonna pop magical awareness while
Okay.
I'm walking up to him and
Okay.
like touching him and stuff.
You can tell the robes have a faint illusion magic to them. It's a faint enough illusion magic. You get the sense it's likely just a something cosmetic. Just minor touch-ups here and there, hide wear and tear, hide stains, stuff like that. You can see there's a hint of evocation magic in what would be his right breast pocket. And he kind of sees that sparkle in your eye and goes, my wand is there. Just a simple wand. Stick of wood.
And I see it.
He reaches, pulls it out. 13 inches long. Dark colored wood with 3 rings around the base. That kind of, like, as you see how he's holding it and you see his fingers, you can see it would, like, form to his, the way his hand works. And there's a sort of large, like, knot along, halfway along the length of the wand, and the rest of the wand kind of bends out at a slight angle. almost like the wood was turned into string for a second, tied into a knot, and then reversed back to wood as a part of the wand's creation.
Alright, can you just put that on the ground as we're continuing to pat you?
I'm going to maintain that on my person, and he slips it back into his pocket.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
He's within 30 feet of us, right?
Oh, absolutely. You guys are at a table that is like 10 feet back from the door, if that.
Okay, cool.
Can I use True Strike?
You would have to be able to see him to do that. Right now, the door, thanks to Theodrata, is staying closed enough that he doesn't have direct line of sight to you, and you don't have direct line of sight to him.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
As a mastiff, can I hear everything he's saying?
Yes, and because Wild Shape lets you keep your mental scores, you can understand it as well.
Whoa.
Whoa!
Okay, what if I just turn Silver into a bull?
With Polymorph, that would no longer be the case.
Sorry, Silver. I'm gonna have to make you dumb.
Okay.
Alright.
Won't change much.
Ready?
Hey,
But yeah, Ruben, you never gave me an investigation check.
Oh, shit.
Shit. Oh, nice.
20. As you're kind of patting him down, you don't find any metal weapons, no classical weapons. Your magical awareness doesn't reveal anything other than the cloak and the wand. He seems fairly unarmed. Clearly, though, as he's demonstrated to you, he does have some form of arcane ability.
Okay, so at this point,
But there's no physical weapons.
Me and the other mastiff are starting to get a little anxious, so we're moving around trying to we're waiting for the signal from Eterna, but we're thinking about doing stuff.
Eden.
What?
Eden!
What?
You're honestly
You
not
can't-
far off.
I'm gonna say, you can't tell me that's not accurate, that we're not just sitting there with our, with our legs chucked up.
Yeah,
Under the
Ruben's
table.
the police officer in this situation.
I
No, you may not come into school. No, you may not come into this establishment, sir.
wonder if that's
Sorry.
enough. I wonder if that's enough reference to this that will get this video taken off of YouTube.
Nah, people don't watch it. They don't watch your videos anyway.
No one
You're
watches
right.
their videos.
No one
It's like,
cares.
what, 3 hours in? No one watches this.
No one watches this shit.
No one watches.
So, Eterna, I'm waiting on your signal.
I'm getting ready to polymorph on your mark, man.
So
I
yeah,
don't know anymore.
So,
Ruben,
fuck it,
as
then
you
fuck it.
finish kind of patting Varcan down, he kind of like lets his arms slump to his sides. Now, I've held up what you wanted me to do. You've tested my patience long enough. Show me where they are.
I turned silver. I went. Oh wait, I can't hear anything. Fuck.
I'm just sitting there like, I don't fucking know anymore.
Well,
Alright. You know, I held up. You held up your end, I'll hold up my end.
Okay,
Probably-
Hey,
Hammer,
Theodrata!
I do
One
it.
second,
I do it.
one
I
second,
polymorph
one
you. I
second.
polymorph you.
Okay. As soon I'm holding my action
Okay,
to charge
so let's-
for as soon
Let's
as
take it
the
one.
door opens.
Let's take it 1 second at a time. So first, I want to hear what Alex says. Then we'll talk about what Poyo is polymorphing Shalex into. Then we'll talk about what Shalex is doing after being polymorphed. Okay?
Okay.
Order of operations.
You held up your end, I'll hold up mine. I turn back to the door. Hey, Theodrata,
Yes.
he's unarmed.
Well, of course.
I'm gonna keep an eye on him, but, I think we should show him where the friends are. Where those group are that,
At that
he's
moment,
trying to find.
polymorph goes off. Tyler, what do you polymorph Shalix into?
I'm guessing, wouldn't appreciate it if there's a rhino in our house, huh? So I'm just gonna go with like a bull.
Alright, so let me find stats for a bull. Silver, this is a race against you. If you find stats for a bull before I do, we'll use whatever you find. Probably. Unless it's ridiculously overpowered. Or, like, unrealistic.
Or too realistic.
Got it.
Yeah, there isn't a bull in the,
Bam.
in the monster manual.
Ooh, a bundle sale.
I mean, they have cattle. Oh, that's on D&D Wiki. That's homebrew.
Is this homebrew?
I think this is homebrew, yeah.
This is fine.
Alright.
This is fine. This works just fine.
Nah.
Okay. All right. So, as that happens, the table kind of, the chair under you, as Shalix, you go from being this kind of moldy, almost mossy dog to this full-fledged bull, massive, muscles rippling underneath powerful shoulders, horns almost like touching the ceiling of this low-ceilinged home, just filling the entire space here.
All right. As right before
Theodrata, as you're turning in, Theodrata kind of like dives out of the way of the door, and like as she's diving, gives a thumbs up and like a wink. As a bull, you're not entirely sure what that means, but you're in a cramped and enclosed space, and that's very not comfortable for you, and you want out. And there's a way out that seems to only be blocked by some kind of other thing with smaller tusks than you.
All right.
Oh,
So,
shit.
Right before I get transformed, I detail the Mastiff fetch 1, and then I'm gonna trample, running straight at the door. So.
Okay. Let's take a look at. Okay, so I'm gonna give Varcan a strength saving throw. The DC for this is going to be the same as the Stampede DC from the stats you sent. It's going to be 17. As you kind of like charge for the door, Ruben, you have just enough time and just enough warning with your magical awareness to step out of the way. Varcan doesn't step out of the way. Varcan takes one step back, braces himself, and prepares to try to catch you by the horns.
The horns of Valhalla.
DC 17. With a 19, you go trying to charge out of this door. The door frame blasts into splinters as you go through, and you go to like buck at Varcan, and he grabs onto your horns, and you come to a sliding stop, maybe like 5 feet in the door. Your back hooves are still inside the building, and you're just bucking and trying to like come off, and Varcan is just holding you there. And we're gonna go ahead and roll initiative. If everyone would throw tokens.
1 second. Alan, 1 second. While he's busy with me, my Mastiff can just grab the wand, right?
That's gonna be in initiative order.
Alright.
Because you definitely reacted faster than the Mastiff did in this instance. So everyone throw tokens just onto this map. We're going to do Theater of the Mind, but we need tokens for initiative.
Ow.
Click and drag. Here, I got you. Boom.
Goodbye, gun nickel.
And then I click it, and then I hit...
Guys,
initiative.
I'm huge. Guys, I'm fucking gigantic. Holy shit.
Let me, real quick, add character Varcan. Save.
Guys, he has a letter for me. Keep that letter safe.
And add...
Theodrata.
Boom. Add turn. And
I just realized how bad an idea this was.
Listen, you guys told me to distract him, and I did. And then you guys did a different distraction. Listen, I was given information of, hey, go talk to this guy, you don't know him. And I said, okay. And then next thing I know, a bull is coming out of my fucking, like, behind, basically.
I know, that's what I'm saying. This is now a terrible idea, and I apologize.
Listen,
This is the best
you
outcome.
guys
This is the
did
only
this
outcome.
yourself.
This is the only outcome. You know how in Doctor Strange and Infinity War, they were like, this is the only way and shit? This is the only way out of a million fucking time. Like, this is the only way.
you know, Tyler, I think that's bullshit.
No, it was definitely not bullshit like it was bullshit in Infinity War.
So, Varcan is up first, just barely beating out Theodrata. I rolled really well on both of my initiatives. I got a 15 and a 16 on the dice.
You need to stop.
Maybe I should, but I'm not going to. So Varcan, as he's holding you as the bull there, he's just going to, like holding you by the horns, he's just going to bring your head down and bring his knee up directly into your jaw. So I'm going to go ahead and give him advantage on this attack since he just has you right there. 2d20, that's a +6 to hit. 8 and 6 is 14. Does not hit a bull's AC somehow.
14 does not hit.
So you just managed to, like, twist out of the way. The knee still hits your jaw, and it still hurts. But it doesn't hurt enough to cause any damage. It just sends flashes of red-hot anger through your veins. And you start just... as he kind of misses that attack, as a bonus action, he's going to let go with one hand, pull out his wand, and he's going to try to cast a Dispel Magic on, yeah, it would be on you. But since he's casting at 3rd level, he does have to roll for it. So that would be plus... yeah. So he has to get a 14 or higher on this because Polymorph is a 4th level spell. Given that this is kind of funky-wonky, Shallex, I'm going to give you the choice. Do you return to your Mastiff form, or do you return to your true form?
Mastiff.
Alright. So as the wand kind of touches the top of your head, you shrink down again, down to basically the height of his knees, as his foot is kind of coming back from trying to knee you in the jaw. Looking up at him, your mind is now your own again. You still feel that kind of pulsing rage, but it's almost a dim afterthought compared to what it once was. You kind of look up at him. He snarls down at you.
Magic fights are fun.
Theodrata does not want to incriminate herself and does not want any of the vaguely illegal experiments she has going on upstairs to incriminate her. She's just going to start slowly backing up the stairs, and she's going to
Cast Fireball.
as she's backing up the stairs, everyone except Ruben, I'll say, because Ruben, you're kind of focused on what's in front of you, and Shalex, you're also kind of focused on Varcan. But Jin, Poyo, Eterna, you three see as she's going up the stairs, she taps like 3 different spots on the stairs, and you see mild like flashes of runes going from an inactive state to an active state, in the sense that she's turning on her defense network.
Whoa.
Going upstairs is now a bad idea. So that's
Good working upstairs.
so that's Theodrata. Poyo, as your polymorph is ripped from your mental grasp, what do you do?
I hold my action.
What action are you holding?
Prime Dragon Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
When he gets in my eyesight and shit.
Given that the door was just blasted open by a bull, and that bull is now a dog and is not taking up that space anymore, you
I
can.
forgot that door is blasted off.
Yeah, you all can see him, and he can see all of you.
I wave. And yell out, Prime Dragon Eldritch Blast!
Go ahead and roll your attacks.
Whoosh.
Miss.
Whoosh.
Miss.
I shift in despair.
Alright, go ahead and roll for your shifting.
16.
Are you going to try to go anywhere? There is a back exit to this house if you'd like to try to go out that way. There's the stairs, or you can try to like squeeze out the front door despite what's happening there. If you want to do any movement.
Can I hold my movement? I might just stay here for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to
That's my
Jin. As you're kind of watching all of this unfold. You know you have what he wants.
Alright, I do. So who's the closest to him right now?
Right now that would be Shalex in dog form, is within melee. Ruben is 10 feet out. The rest of you guys are about 15 feet out. From him.
Alright.
Like, Ruben is just inside where the door used to be. Shalex is just outside where the door used to be. You guys are at the table.
How far away is he right now?
About 15 feet from you. If you wanted to, like, throw a mundane object at him, you probably could. You could probably get it there, depending on what it is.
I have a genius idea, but I don't think it's a good one.
We might have just had the same genius idea that I texted Jordan.
No, my genius idea is I have handcuffs.
Oh. My
Jakey.
genius idea is you guys have fake with Steinor.
Well, fake with signing gets.
This time, whatever.
Fistine.
Fistine.
But either way,
You know what?
plan.
It's canon now. Someone somewhere in this world has like metal gauntlets made entirely of Wistine that they use to like box, and it's called Fistine.
Sounds about right.
It's canon now. Someone somewhere.
Okay, so has someone actually like hit him yet, like physically?
Nope. No damage has been dealt.
Okay, does he look like he's aggressive right now? Is he gonna start murdering us?
Roll That's a hard call. You can roll an insight check if you'd like, but I would take your action for it.
Yeah, okay.
That's a hard call.
9.
So far, everything he's done, has technically been in self-defense. He hasn't attacked anything yet.
Until I at least tried.
In a fair court, he hasn't done any damage to property or person. He has defended himself from magical attacks. In a fair court, he would win. And you know from experience that the courts here are not from experience, but you know from like having heard the courts in this town are rigged. Whether or not he's going to be aggressive, you have no idea. Is he going to continue to quote unquote take the high road and retain plausible deniability? Or is he going to trust that his bribes are enough to see him through whatever shit show of a court case is going to result from this? Or, I mean, you don't know. There's a lot going on and a lot of different moving parts, and you just can't make heads or tails of it.
You said there's a back entrance, right?
There's a back door that leads to like a little garden area that Theodrata keeps.
Okay. Can I use my bonus action to hide and then just like try to sneak my way back into the back?
Sure. Go ahead and roll a stealth check. I'll say with disadvantage since he currently has direct line of sight to you.
Oh, am I not inside?
You are inside, but the door is blasted open.
Yeah, the door is deleted.
The door is deleted. There's like an 8-foot hole in the wall where the door used to be.
Well, I'm sure
There's
he has
a
more
bullshit
instincts than looking at me, so 18.
Well, let's find out. He's not too good at perception. It's only a +3. Yeah, no. You like zoop under the table, and like kind of pull the tablecloth down a bit. He is none the wiser.
Alright, I'm just gonna use the rest of my movement to like keep on going and see if I can get outside.
Yeah, you go ahead and head out the rear entrance.
Yep.
There's an alleyway kind of like outside of this garden. It's not really an alleyway, it's more of like a thin street. Like a one lane road. Between various other houses that are all like fenced.
I'll try to make my way into an alleyway.
Okay. As you do so, I don't think an 11 or a 9 hits you.
Nope.
You kind of like, as you're running out, you're used to like being up and down as kind of like some of your ways of getting away. And you're used to having to run away from these sorts of experiences. And so you just kind of instinctively glance up just in time to see two what appear to be halflings, each armed with crossbows, and you manage to dodge out of the way of both of those and head off into an alleyway. You don't hear them pursuing you.
Do they look like guards?
Roll a perception check real quick. DC 13.
No.
Too fast of a glance to tell. You were a bit busy focused on dodging two very sharp projectiles.
Well, did they have cool hats on?
The answer is probably.
Maybe. They definitely had something on their head. Whether it was a hat or a hood, you're not sure.
Maybe
Sure look cool.
it was a fucking raccoon.
Maybe it was a bucket hat.
it was probably a bucket hat. That's going to end your turn, Jin. We're moving on to Eterna.
I want to cast True Strike
Okay.
on Varcan.
Go ahead and, or give me the list of what I need to tell you about him.
Damage resistances, immunities, vulnerabilities, condition immunities, current hit points, and max hit points.
Sorry, I only have like a sticky notes worth of notes on what his stats are, because I wasn't entirely sure that this was going to go off.
I want to see if we can take him, and if we can't, then I'm gonna try and play nice. That's why I'm doing True Strike.
Fair. Where is this? Okay. As you point your finger at him, a kind of silvery, shadowy, like lens flickers over him. As it does, there's a spark of red on one of his fingers. He has resistance to fire damage from a ring there. No damage, immunities, or vulnerabilities. He is immune to the charmed condition. And current and max hit points are... He is at 156 out of 156.
Okay. Alright, so... Yeah, that's an action. I'm going to use my movement to get in between, to go up to Shalix and Varcan and be like, hey, everyone, let's just calm down for a minute. We didn't have a contract, but we did have a deal.
Okay. I'll say go ahead and roll just a general persuasion check. I'm not going to make this a contested roll. We'll see based on how well you roll how other players react to it, and how the two NPCs here react to it.
23.
23. Varcan kind of nods. Good of someone to remind this lot of that. I'm just here to collect what is due to me.
And you will give the information that is due to me.
Of course.
And that letter.
And the letter for... You said Reuben.
Yes. I assume that's the tiefling here.
Something like that.
I saw a glint in his eyes when I said his name.
Good job, Reuben. I'm kidding.
But we're
So-
all fucking tired, so let's just try to chill for a minute. Because I don't feel like killing anyone, And I don't think y'all feel like killing anyone.
I just barked.
I've never killed anyone, and I'd rather not change that today.
Shotlex dog master
Can
barked
I-
twice.
Can I say if he's fucking lying?
What was that, Silver?
Shotlex dog barks twice.
Okay. You can roll inside if you'd like.
Because I think he's a liar. I think he may not have directly killed anyone, but he has definitely killed people. Like, he didn't pull the trigger, but he sent the order. That's gonna be a 12 for insight.
Hard to read. You definitely have that instinct and that impression about him that he's not the type to do his own dirty work, typically. But he is also here in person, and I'm fairly certain this would count as dirty work. Especially given that you don't know about the two halflings on the roof. I would say you're inclined to at least doubt your own perception of him in this moment. That perhaps he's not actually responsible for any deaths.
So now I only think he's a liar. I don't know he's a liar.
You are less confident that he was lying than you were before that insight check. Whatever that
Okay.
means to you, whatever that means to Eterna.
Okay.
The fact that he was able to look you in the eyes and say that, and you couldn't see any hint of a lie on his facial features or anything like that, you're more inclined to believe him.
I'm just gonna put murderer question mark on my notes.
So, with Eterna trying to calm everything down and prevent this from escalating any further, trying to de-escalate the situation, Ruben, what are you up to?
Does he look like he's going to stop attacking us?
As I said before, he wasn't attacking in the first place. He definitely doesn't... He's still braced to, like, defend himself from an attack if he needs to. But he seems willing to talk. If that makes sense.
You said you had that letter, correct?
I do.
I will stop fighting right now if you do not hurt them and give me that letter.
I will give you that letter as soon as I have what is due to me.
I look to the rest of the group. Listen, I've never met you before other than today, so I don't know what you need. I don't know what they promised you. I was too busy drinking at a bar. So,
It's a long story. You see, we got framed for elephants and shit. It was quite a crazy day that you missed.
I mean, if everyone's cool with it, I just want that letter. So, if everyone's chill and not fighting, agreed?
Yeah, Jin.
Of course.
Though that was out of play. Eden, Tyler, Silver, Jordan.
What do you mean that's out of play?
If we
Wait,
like,
what
are
is-
you guys gonna stop fighting?
I'm
I've
the one
literally
that
run away. I don't know what
proposed.
you're talking about.
I'm more
literally left.
okay. More
Why aren't you talking
Koyo,
in character though? Don't
because-
Koyo me.
no, more you and Silver because you two are fucking doing whatever the fuck else. We had a
I turned you into an elephant. I used my other fucking 4th level fucking spell to turn you an elephant.
Do you actually?
No, of course
Okay.
not.
Good,
I do
because
that
it's
out
not
of
your turn.
character.
Shotlex and Shotlex's dog stand left and right of this guy.
Varcan is his name.
Varcan. We're standing on his left side and his right side, just kind of like attack dogs.
Eterna, do you have what he needs?
I
Let
do,
his
and
attack
he has
dogs
the
now.
information that I need.
Well, he also has that letter that I need, so...
Yeah, because I'm the one that made a deal with him.
Well, then give the man what he needs.
If you say letter one more time, as a courier, I'm quite offended.
Well, I thought we were still in an initiative.
We're not. Not at
Oh,
this
okay.
point.
I like to think
Alright.
that Jin is like halfway through the window, just like
So,
still
the-
laying on the other side.
No, Jin's
So-
like
Not
all the
dead,
way like
not
gone.
window.
Jin's all the way gone. Jin's like in a different city block.
Isn't Jin the one that has the stuff?
Yes.
I have the fake stuff.
Jin
I
has
have the
Jin
real
has
stuff.
the real stuff, and Eterna has the fake stuff.
That's why I fucking ran.
Yeah.
Listen, that was
So-
not a distraction.
So, Vargan. The deal was you give us, I believe it was 300 gold
Yes.
and information, and then we give you 2 Wittstein ingots.
That was what we worked out.
Alright. So, if you will give us the gold, I'll give you the ingots, and then you give me the information.
A letter! My letter!
And the letter. Which, why
How
do you
about-
have the letter?
Yeah, why?
Shouldn't it go to the post office?
Well, of course it should, but when I stop by and make a request, I find that I often get what I need.
You just steal people's mail?
You didn't even know who
I think
Ruben
that's
was.
quite
so
illegal.
You literally didn't know who Ruben was until now.
No, but the person at the office mentioned that there was strange mail for the Tidebringers that I had been keeping an eye on since I heard they had passed our...
So you just
Sister
decided
city.
That's a
to
bit of voiding
nab
of
my
privacy.
mail from me.
Again, as a courier, I'm quite offended right now.
Why, Ruben, why do you have mail here?
I couldn't tell you. I sent a letter to someone, and you know they aren't.
Ruben, did you just fucking follow the scam? Did you just scam us?
No.
Spam mail?
Liz.
No.
Did you sign
Okay.
this up for something?
Here. Out of character, the explanation for why the letter ended up here and why he has it is, of course, he has it because he was interested in the Tidebringers, and the letter here was addressed to a member of the Tidebringers. And the news was when that letter, like, as you sent that letter, the couriers that went with kind of took generally an idea of where you were going to be with them. And so the letter was, and Poya would know, letters are often copied as a part and sent out multiple times just to ensure, because a lot of people, especially a lot of adventurers, are not very stationary in this world. There's a lot of moving and grooving. And so, likely what happened is when the letter arrived, your letter arrived to the person you sent it to, that also came with generally an idea of you guys are getting on a boat to go to the Fearlands, and we'll likely make some stops along the way. So there's likely a copy of this letter that has been sent to various popular port towns along the coast of Yanyan, and the one that arrived here, Varcan would have picked up when he saw that it was addressed to the Tidebringers and had just made a deal with the Tidebringers that he expected to go bad, as it kind of has.
So, Alan,
Okay.
sorry to
'Cause
ask.
He
that's what I
wanted-
was wondering.
He wanted a bit of leverage.
could
Okay,
just get
well,
over to
give
another
him the
port.
fucking ingot so I can get my letter.
Varcan kind of pulls the
Gotta
letter
lie.
back out again and holds out his hand. Give me one ingot. I'll hand the letter over. You give me the other. Then we'll sit down and talk.
And the 300 gold?
Of course. It'll be on the
How do
table
you
while
like
we
your
talk.
tea?
pot, 2 cubes
Do
of
we
sugar.
still have a table?
We have a
Most
floor.
of one.
It just flipped.
Most of one. I could put it back together.
I don't know if I want you doing magic while, even though I know that like we already had this song and dance, but like wizards make me unnerved.
All right, Alan, I'm just getting hot water.
Oh, you're just getting hot. You're not actually making him tea.
No, I'm just gonna give him hot water.
All right, come on.
Valid.
Alright.
Give him it over, Eterna.
Or
Alright, so let's go into the house.
He steps inside. As he does, despite your protests, he kind of waves his wand behind him, and you watch as the various shards of wood from where the door exploded suddenly begin like hovering and reforming themselves into most of a door. There's a few shards that he misses, and a few pieces where the door is still like scratched and like pieces are gouged out, but he restores it to a functional, if not pretty, door.
I just kind of glare.
I take a note of where he returns his wand.
Yeah, it's his. So the letter was in his left breast pocket on the inside of his robes. The wand is in the right breast pocket. His right, your left.
Got it.
I pull up a chair and offer him one, and I sit down.
So he's
Yep.
left-handed?
Alright,
He is.
so hand me the letter.
He places the letter on the table. He does holding his hand on top of it. One
I pull
ingot.
out one of the ingots and put it on the table.
He slides the letter over to Reuben and places his hand on the ingot, pulls it to himself.
Match the letter.
It is in fact a reply from the letter that you had sent out.
Fucking, I rip it open really quick.
Okay. Are
Like,
you going to read it now, or are you going to participate in this conversation and then read it later?
Ruben's gonna sit
We're
there
trying-
reading
trying
it
to
and
vote
like
that.
half
Yeah.
get the conversation, half read it, but like not really paying attention to the conversation.
Okay.
Just getting bits that he needs.
Just so that I know what to do you want to make the contents of this letter public or private?
Private.
Okay. So I will just set it in your journal then. So you should have access to it in like 12 seconds. Save changes.
My summer dog is just gonna
Yeah.
try to
Yeah, no, y'all just stay as dog
Try to
form. But like,
read.
I'm not saying that in person. Like
try
in
to read
character.
with him.
Okay. Well, I will let Ruben decide if your dog is able to do that or not.
What am I deciding?
If you're gonna let Shalex's dog read over your shoulder.
No.
Okay.
Stand up, he can't follow. Darn.
Alright.
He's just okay.
He kind of holds his. He kind of like reaches down to his left hip. Varcan does, and like pulls up a bag, and just sets it on the table. You hear the clink of coins within, but he keeps a firm grasp on the neck of the bag.
I sniff it. Does it smell like drugs?
Smells metallic.
Okay.
Alright. I'll give you the second ingot after you tell me about the Shadow Walkers in the Order.
The Order of the Shadow Walkers is a group that I work with of folks who have escaped from Draevok's rule and are coping with the consequences of being cursed, or in some cases, such as what I assume is yours, blessed by the corruption of the feelings. It's halfway between a social justice or revolutionary movement. They have members in the Fearlands that actively work against Uthalakai's plans and remain hidden. They have members here. Obviously, Yangnam having the water purification plant so that some of that technology can be adapted to try to purify those who have ill effects from the corruption. But it is a group of those who have been touched by the feelings and either need help or want to cause harm.
Wow,
Okay, so you're saying that the Shadow Walkers are only corrupted by the Fearlands.
Typically corrupted by the feelings. I don't know, personally, I don't know all of their stories. I work with the group, I'm not a member of the group.
At this time, Ruben walks out of the house. Like, he just kind of puts the letter down in his hand and slowly puts his head down and just starts walking out of the house.
Dog follows.
Okay.
So you're saying Uthalikai's plans. So you only know Shadow Walkers that have come from under Uthalikai's domain?
Just given our geographical location, that's most of what I know, yes.
So only from Eastern Fearlands?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a way that I would be able to contact them? Because there's a few missing pieces I would like to ask one of them.
I will, It takes a while to arrange a meeting. Because of their curses, they typically try to stay out of the public eye. So I was so surprised to see you walking around town publicly. You seem to have no shame with your grayed fur and darkened eyes.
My eyes are purple.
They were not purple originally, were they?
I don't remember.
Interesting.
Are they all like foxes, or are they like beast folk, or are they
Not
like
all of them
regular-
are beast folk. There's one that I know of that is a beast folk. She takes after... What is the animal? I believe it's a... camel?
Platypus.
Some form of desert creature, similar to a horse. I'm not familiar with biology in as many ways as others are. But no, they are of all races. Dwarves, there's an elf, several humans, gnomes, a couple of halflings.
Well, of course they don't seem to be confident with it because I'm pretty, but
Wow.
listen, y'all know a turn is a fucking child, right? this is on brand.
There are many in this town that I have heard or seen agree with you on that.
Alright. And some of them seem to be staying in the Fearlands.
Yes. They choose to use the powers that the corruption gives them against Uthalikai's plans.
And you would have no inclination of what those are.
I work with them, work with those who wish to be purified because I run the purification plant. I don't work that closely with the other half. Despite how I might appear and despite my orcish heritage, I am not a war-torn or war-driven creature.
For someone who says they don't like war, you have some real conflicting vibes going on.
Yeah.
I don't like war. Business, on the other hand, is something that I excel at.
Even if that business is on the back of war?
So far, it hasn't been.
Okay.
Are you satisfied?
How would I be able to get in contact with them if I wanted to talk to the other Shadowbunkers? Which, by the way, who made that name?
They did.
Okay.
The walk set shadow.
I would, You could likely encounter one or two of them if I gave you access to certain parts of my facility. But given how your friends have treated me today, I'm not sure I'm willing to do that.
Even though you can see that I'm not a brute?
You certainly
Listen,
have the
Ruben,
size and strength to be capable of being one.
Ruben did nothing wrong to him. He
You're
just
outside.
had him down, and he just wanted to be friends. That's it.
You did not want to be friends with this guy. You're just being friendly.
I just want to
Don't, you're doing customer service at best, Alex.
I will
Don't
say
even.
this, Eterna. I will say that with how known you have made your presence here, a member of their group will likely reach out to you at some point. They hold the same curiosities that I do, for the most part. All of us have an interest in purging or occasionally using the corruption of the feelings for our own purposes.
Alright.
I say likely. I won't guarantee it, because I can't. But I would be surprised if you did not get some form of contact.
Okay.
Are you satisfied?
Well, 1 second, I'm fucking writing my notes down.
I did pass him his quote-unquote tea, right?
You can do so now if you'd like.
Yeah. His, the
He
hot
kind of-
water.
He kind of picks it up, takes a sip of it, scowls, waves his hand over the cup. You watch the hot water turn into tea, takes another sip, smiles, sets it down.
I don't know how to make tea.
Clearly. Don't worry, I do.
I don't even know where the tea is. This isn't our house, genius.
Poyo basically just filled a cup with hot water and then used fire magic to heat it even further, is what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Poyo is just like standing in the corner holding this cup like fucking Uncle Iroh did in that one time to heat a cup of hot water for tea, but then just didn't put any tea in it, just handed a cup of hot water to Varcan.
Alright. I slide over the second ingot.
He takes it, releases his hold on the bag of gold, which tips over and spills out in your general direction.
And I scoop it back up.
As he releases the gold, I lick his hand.
Wait, so you're on the table?
I'm a dog playing poker on the table.
He kind of absent-mindedly reaches over and just tossles your head in your ears.
Some spores go into his hot drink.
I
It's
just
tea now.
I just give Silver a Shalix a confused look because I don't remember if that's Shalix or the dog anymore.
Yes.
But after a second, he kind of stands up. Good. I'll be able to reinforce the bridge from yesterday, and hopefully my other products will be able to complete with this as well.
I mean,
Thank
I already
you for your
fixed the
service.
bridge. Okay.
You patched the bridge, similarly to the door here that I did. Similar. There are actual repairs that must be done, and simple magic is often incapable of repairing more intricate damages.
Ah. Well,
And I am going to, as the last roll for this encounter, potentially, roll a straight d20 to see if he is able to realize whether or not these ingots are fake. As he's now picking them up, relaxing a little bit, holding them, and kind of looking at them. The number you're hoping for if he doesn't realize, you're wanting 13 or lower. If he gets 14 or higher, he sees that, like, some of the density is off. He notices that they're not entirely Wistine.
Has he held Wistine before? Has he done that before?
He has.
Didn't he get, like... He has. Okay.
Fuck.
No, this is a material he's familiar with. So, you're hoping for 13 or lower.
Thank God.
7 saves the day.
Me being
7!
I have to kill this man.
So, as he stands up, he kind of nods in your direction. I understand that we got off somewhat on the wrong foot, but I hope this conversation today has assured you that I do have the town's best interests at heart, as well as Yanyan's best interests at heart. No one should leave here angry. And he turns around and walks out of the door.
I am dying is what I'm doing right now.
I
Me
summoned
being like,
Kindle.
am I gonna have to kill this man? Can we kill this man?
This is how I treat, like, tax collectors. This is how... No, not tax collectors. It's just Jehovah
And
Witnesses.
it is 5 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to end the session there, because I know Alex needs to get ready for work.
You've got 30 minutes.
No, we
I'm
got
also
it.
going to end the session there, because that's a really good stopping point. Or,
Do we take a long rest?
yes, you guys can... I'll say Theodrata continues to allow you guys to spend the night there. You have pot pie for dinner. It's delicious. You all, like, sleeping pile in the room. The only other thing that we should do this session, Alex, if you would like to, is talk about that letter. Or if anyone else wants to ask Ruben about it, that's something that can happen during the long rest. But I'll say everyone can go ahead and mark a long rest, and next session in 2 weeks,
But isn't Jin, like, gone, though?
we
Yeah.
can pick up
Alan,
from
I
the
have
end of
a-
the long rest.
I have a question for a spell really fast.
Yeah,
Okay?
Jin hasn't returned, guys.
Can I was about to say, can I summon Kindle to, like, quickly scour for Jin? and shit?
Yes.
Well-
Kindle, over the course of the next hour, is able to find Jin.
Is anyone asking Ruben about the letter?
I will ask Ruben about the letter.
Alex is also gonna ask. But before that, Alan, corrupt enhanceability or corrupted enhanceability. It's basically
Alan.
enhanceability but
What?
disadvantage.
Roll an investigation check for
I don't...
Wouldn't it be
Are you
perception?
asking about a homebrew spell?
Well,
Can
try to search.
Can we homebrew that spell?
Did you commit a
We
murder?
can
or
certainly
something?
look at it, yeah.
Well, it's just an idea that I just got. It's this enhanceability spell, but as offense.
We can certainly take a look at making something like that.
Yes. Okay.
I don't think it could be investigation, but maybe it's perception.
It would be perception. But I'm not gonna say roll. I'm just gonna say within the next hour, Poyo, Kindle is able to find Jin.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna say it happens.
What if if I didn't want to be found?
Roll a stealth check then.
Damn.
If you don't want to be found by your friends.
What kind of illegal shit you're doing, Jordan?
2.
I'm guessing
get
I'm
that
supposed to
too.
contend to get that.
Yeah, contest with perception.
Can I send my dog?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jordan.
So within 10 minutes, Jin, you kind of like get a thump as Kindle like lands on your shoulder.
Hey, Knucklehead, he's gone.
You can just see me with like a bunch of shopping bags. I just went on a shopping spree.
Jen, it's only been like an...
Jin, it's been 10 minutes! How have you spent $300?
Jen, we
I'm a
don't even have that
material
kind of
girl.
money. What
I'm
do you
a
mean?
material girl.
We don't even have that kind of money.
Material girl.
Alright, I'll head back.
Alright. So yeah, you guys all mark your long rests. As you guys are kind of piling in. Theodrata does not have that many beds. Theodrata really only has the bed for herself and one guest bed. And the guest bed is kind of small. It's only 4 feet long, so it doesn't really work for you guys. So essentially what's happening is you guys are like unrolling your bed rolls basically in her living room. One of you is on a couch. The others are just kind of like splayed out on the floor, generally just haphazardly.
Under the table.
Huh?
Damn, I went under the table.
No, I'm under the table.
Man, go
Jin
fight
is under the
man.
table.
Turn is on top of it. No,
I
I
call
can't
the
sleep
room.
on top of the table. It's not long enough.
Yeah, the table
called
is
the
not
roof.
big enough for Eterna, unfortunately.
I call the roof.
Man, no one gonna get the couch.
I want the couch.
Okay.
I can't use the couch. I'm-
Poyo,
I feel
Poyo's
like-
on the couch, Jin's under the table. Shalix, are you actually gonna sleep on the roof?
Gonna look at the stars.
How slanted
We'll
is the roof?
Very slanted. You would not physically be able to sleep on the roof unless you, like, built a structure for it.
I grabbed some nails and a...
But I will say there's like a what's that type of window that you really like, Eden?
A bay window.
There's like a bay window that affords a really nice view of the sky that you can sleep next to.
Yes.
Wait a second. Theodrata has a dog, right?
Theodrata?
Is there a dog house out here? Yeah.
No.
Oh, I thought she did.
No,
Wait.
it's my dog.
Wait, no, she does
Yeah,
have a
she has
dog.
a riding
She does have a
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
It's not a riding dog. Yeah, the dog has a bed like in the same room as Theodrata.
But they have a dog house, right? There you go.
No, it's an indoor dog.
It's a good dog, is what it is.
Yes. But yeah, you guys are just kind of laying down to go to sleep.
Please no.
Please no.
In this
So
setting.
you all get a level up, right?
No.
Damn it. Why did you do this to us?
When do we
How could
get
this
a
happen?
level up?
Are you guys asking about it? Because I heard 2 of you say you were, and then
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of the point of me setting up the whole scene, was for someone to...
Oh, for a level up,
Hey,
right?
No.
Ruben, you good?
huh?
You good?
Yeah, you
Um,
were talking a lot about that letter. Like, I'm pretty sure like 50 times.
Yeah, I'm good. And he kind of puts the letter in his pocket.
Can I cast Detect Thoughts?
I'm gonna lean on say, you know,
Eterna, I'm
I
gonna
can
say
tell
no.
when you're sad.
Okay.
You wanna join me on the dirty floor down here?
No, he's my pillow. You can't jump on
I
the
like to Jen just pats on the fucking floor and shit. Hey, wanna
I just
come
have
down
my
here?
legs in the air, just like twiddling in the air. Just like my hands on like my chin.
Your legs are almost long enough to prop them up against the bottom of the table.
Let's go.
Almost.
Almost.
They're not.
Maybe next time.
It ain't gonna be a next time.
Maybe next time.
Okay.
Come on, my dog saw you, followed you around for a bit. We know something's wrong.
It's in the past. Stuff that I can't control anymore. It's
What, is it from family, from friends or something? Or from,
Secret lover, perhaps?
yeah.
the
you could-
IRS?
Yeah, you could say secret lover if you wanna call what we had that.
I got it right. I mean, I'm so sorry for you.
Jin just like does the fist thing. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, again, nothing I can really do much about it now.
There's always something you can do about it.
He kind of sighs and just kind of pulls out the letter again. I don't think there's anything I can do about this one. This one was my fault. This one,
Maybe we can make it better.
she's already got another laugh. I don't want to ruin another laugh that could have been or is being right
I
now.
grabbed the letter.
Yay!
Wow, privacy, Sharlex.
I try and like grab it back.
I just climb on Sharlex and look at it.
I thought you wanted us to read it.
No.
Bad dog, Shalix.
And I
Bad.
start reading.
I'll say both of you roll sleight of hand. See who ends up with the letter.
Hi.
Alright,
Bit invading of the privacy, don't you think?
Shalux, I'm going to go ahead and share the contents of this letter with you.
Ruben's
You can
face just
you
gets,
can
like,
read
really,
it out
really
loud
red.
if you'd like. You don't have to, but it is an option.
Ruben's face gets really, really red when he's like seeing you read it and stuff.
Sharlex, do you read it out loud? Ruben might implode if you do.
That's the part. That's the best part.
To my big bro,
Oh. Ruben just like covers his ears.
you have no idea how happy I was to read your letter. I was so sure you died. Got run over by a motorcycle.
What's a motorcycle?
You just left with no warning. We had no idea what had happened. We had a funeral and dug a grave, built a scarecrow and everything.
Wait, and built a scarecrow?
Buried a
Fucking dug up a
scarecrow.
grave.
Oh, okay.
Does Shalux just stop reading aloud at that point?
Yeah, that's when Shalix just stops reading.
You know,
Ruben
I
still
sent
just has his hands over his ears and like
I
he's
sent
just,
stage
like,
out
putting
over
his-
here.
he's like just putting his head in his like chest, basically. Like he's sitting like curled with his legs up, and he's putting his head like right in there, like right on top of his knees, and he's like just holding his ears.
I bet Ruben, I'm sure. Don't worry, I had my fucking letter read out loud by Sharlex too.
I don't write letters.
I
I do
can't
things
read.
magic.
Keep going.
Is that in character?
Keep going, Shalix.
Alright. Even your father showed up to the funeral, although he didn't cry like we did. He had that same thing, the same eye thing you do, but it was in both of his eyes, and his horn kind of sparkled. It was weird. I talked to him after I got your letter to see what was going on. He wanted to that if you wanted to know more about your magic stuff, you should meet him in the shop in
Sala.
Sala. But he also said that he doesn't believe he's your dad and that he'll never be your dad. He was rude. You should probably know if they got married to Eli after you left.
This is where Ruben tears start welling up again in his eyes.
She has 2 kids, Rachel and Abaddon. I'm not sure what happened between you and Faye, but she's still super angry at you. She thinks it's your fault that Abaddon has the same magic stuff you do. Most of the rest of the towns agrees, but I think it's just this town. We seem to have a habit of getting in trouble. There's a famine going on right now. Nobody has enough to eat. The crops were suffering, and some of the people didn't make it through the last winter. Mom says I kicked up too much dirt as a kid, and now dirt's kicking back. Please come visit. Maybe your magic can save the town again, like it did the last time. We all missed you.
Ruben stands
Magic.
up.
Your wild thing?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the town? That, because like you're not exactly like like a wizard.
Yeah, I'm not.
Can I
Just
make an Arcana or History check to, because I know the type of magic that happened created me. Is there something similar that could be happening that is causing people of that town to be influenced with wild magic?
Some of the lessons about magic that your grandfather has talked about, in fact, most of them revolve around the fact that this world is new, a newborn world still, less than a millennia, or around a millennia and a half old. It's very young and volatile, and the magic is chaotic and wild. And it is well documented that there are certain areas of the world where magic acts differently than it does in other places. The most prominent example of that would be the floating isles of rain that you passed under sailing up here, that the Shattered Isles fell from. That area of almost like reduced gravity on the land, the floating islands, and the increased size of creatures born or created there. The corruption of the Fearlands is another example of certain geographic locations having a specific tie-in with magic. You know in particular about how to trace the ley lines of magic of the world into certain intersections where there are portals. That's something that you trained in. And so you're very familiar with the idea that magic is a very planetary and geographic, and it's very connected to the land that it's on. And so it's entirely plausible that a town, just based on where it is and the history of that area, and the history of the dirt and the stones and the soul of that area, could give birth to people with the ability to cast magic innately, or imbue some form of wild magic into their weapons or their emotions, like Ruben does. Absolutely plausible. As for whether or not this town specifically has something like that, you're not... You just got the letter, you didn't necessarily get the envelope. So you don't know what town it's addressed from. So you can't say for sure whether this town has something like that. But it's
possible.
It's absolutely possible. That could easily be the explanation.
You know, your friend might not be that far off. Maybe he did kick the girl too hard.
Well, we both would have kicked the dirt too hard then. You know, again, not much I can do about that. Don't really think I'm welcome there anymore.
It's your hometown.
Yeah, but you just read the letter, Shalex. You heard. They all think I'm the reason that Faye and her kid are now whatever I am. You know, they think it's all my fault. I can't go back there without...
Ruben?
Or do you think it's true, Ruben? Do you
Ruben.
believe that it is your fault?
Look, I've been gone for 8 years.
Ruben, do you see me? And I just tap at any part of my body.
Ting, ting.
I am made of crystals. Amazing crystals, but crystals. You know how many times I've been called a witch, or warlock, or devil worshiper?
But, look, that's all you, Shalex. I am not going to ruin Faye's life again. And me going back there is just gonna do that.
You could find a reason that
Well, it's
people of your town are becoming what you
well, it's
are.
been 8 years. You changed a lot in 8 years. Shit, you know? They don't know the real you.
Yeah, well,
But
she's
the
also
new
now
you.
married to, my best friend. So, I
That I cannot help you with.
don't think it's a good idea for me to go back.
Ruben, as you're feeling this deep set hurt, I mean, this letter cuts deep. Faye, your Faye, and Eli, your Eli.
I feel like it's half a surprise and half isn't. Because I feel like Ruben, when he lived there, had his doubts and felt
Yeah.
that Faye
And-
and Eli were
and-
doing things.
Even now, as you're like going back over those memories, you're starting to pick apart times when Faye was gone an extra hour or two than what you expected, or unplanned trips that Eli took off into the countryside. Hunting trips, typically. Hunting trips. And you're starting to put together, and that anxiety there of just, were they all along? Was it always them? Was I just a sideshow? And as you have that thought, the deep burning rage that bursts out of you during combat, during battle, you feel it deepen. I need you to roll 2d8 for me.
2d8?
2d8. And get a notepad ready.
We're about to get blasted. Can we not?
So 2d8 you said?
2d8.
There we go. And let me grab it. Got it.
3 and a 5. Okay. So, you gain 2 new effects to your Wild Surge table. These 2 effects are added. And if you can't write them down quickly enough, I will help you get them transcribed after the session.
I was gonna say, because I'm leaving in 4 minutes.
But yeah, take these notes real quick. As you rage, energy floods into your body. You can immediately take 1 additional action, which can only be used to take the attack action or the dash action. And so that'll be on a roll of a... Right now you're rolling a d8, so now you'll be rolling a d10. That'll be a roll of a 9. And on a 10, you are borne aloft. While you are raging, you gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover.
Fuck yeah. So the
So
first
Ruben's
one...
a Super Saiyan.
Yep.
So the second one I can hover, and this first one was I can get an additional
You take an
action.
additional action, which you can use to attack, and you can use your extra attack on that action, or you can use to take the dash action if you need to move extra fast. You
Okay.
just get this flood of extra energy. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. I'm so glad my power came back. I'm gonna go pee before I urinate on my computer. Goodbye!
Well, that's on recording.